A very sad and unfortunate event in Marlon Brando's life. Marlon Brando's son, Christian, had to go to prison because he shot and killed his half-sister Cheyenne's boyfriend at their father's house in 1990. This event was a particularly sad and difficult time for Marlon Brando, the famous actor, who was a very famous and wealthy actor. He became famous during Hollywood's golden age and was known for his good looks, sensitivity, and a bit of a mysterious or edgy quality. This was long before he played the main character in The Godfather, which solidified his legendary status. Brando was known for his unique voice, unusual behaviors, and intense acting style. People loved imitating and making fun of him in a friendly way. However, his life had a difficult start because he grew up with a mother who had a drinking problem and a father who was emotionally distant. His parents separated when he was 11 years old. Brando, who was a charming kid from Omaha, Nebraska, spent some time in a military school, where he was known for playing pranks, and then he moved to New York to pursue a career in acting. He started performing in Broadway shows when he was just 20 years old. He received his first Oscar award when he was 30 years old. He had romantic relationships with many women, including the famous Marilyn Monroe. Over a span of 5 decades, 50 years, he became a father to at least 9 children. Rita Moreno dated Brando on and off for 8 years. During their relationship, she became pregnant, and due to the laws at the time, she had to have an illegal abortion. This was very risky, and she almost died because of it. After this incident, Brando went away to film a movie called Mutiny on the Bounty, and fell in love with his co-star, Tarita Terapia, who eventually became his third wife in 1962. When Brando returned home, Rita Moreno was in his house and, feeling very distressed, she took some of his sleeping pills. Luckily, Brando's assistant found her and rushed her to the hospital to get her stomach pumped. In a podcast interview, Rita Moreno talked about her relationship with Brando, whom she called the lust of my life. She mentioned that he often disappointed her, but she also emphasized the importance of taking responsibility in a relationship. She described their relationship as very intense and obsessive. Marlon Brando didn't talk about his 3 marriages or his many children. He explained that the purpose of the book was to set the record straight and clear up any false stories or misunderstandings about him, especially for the sake of his children. He wanted them to know the real truth about him and not be influenced by the rumors or myths others had created. However, the memoir didn't include a very dramatic and public part of Brando's family history that had happened a few years before the book was published. And sadly, not long after the memoir came out, there was a tragic ending to this particular chapter in his family's story. On May 16, 1990, Marlon Brando's oldest son, Cristiano Brando, who was 32 years old, shot and killed a 26-year-old man named Dag Drolet. Drolet was the boyfriend of Christian's half-sister, Cheyenne Brando. This happened in the den of their father's home in the Hollywood Hills. Christian said he did it to protect his half-sister, Cheyenne, who was 20 years old and pregnant at the time. He told the police that Drolet was being violent with Cheyenne, and he shot Drolet in the head to stop him. Drolet had been staying at Marlon Brando's house with Cheyenne since they had both come to town from Tahiti about 10 days earlier. When Drolet's father was told about his son's death by a reporter, he said, "He was a good boy. Now it's all over." Marlon Brando and Tarita Terapia, who is Cheyenne's mother, were at home when they heard the gunshot, but they were in a different room and didn't witness the shooting. The authorities said they weren't certain if Cristiano Brando was completely sober, but it didn't seem like there was a big drinking party or drug use involved. However, a test done at the police station later showed that his blood alcohol level was quite high at 0.19%. In the house, there were several guns that belonged to Christian, and the gun that was used to shoot Drolet was a .45 caliber semi-automatic pistol. The police officer in charge mentioned that everyone, including Christian, was willing to cooperate with the investigation. Marlon Brando's close friend, attorney William Kunstler, who was representing Christian, spoke to the Los Angeles Times after the shooting. He said that Marlon had called 911 and tried to help the victim, Dag Drolet, by performing CPR while they waited for the ambulance. Christian was arrested and charged with suspicion of murder. Kunstler suggested that some of the information he had heard over the phone indicated that Christian might have acted in self-defense. He mentioned that there might have been a struggle for the gun, and Christian might have been trying to protect his sister, Cheyenne, from harm. A friend of Dag Drolet, however, told the newspaper that he couldn't recall Drolet ever being abusive towards Cheyenne, Marlon Brando's daughter. Marlon Brando and his first wife, Anna Kashfi, had a very bitter custody battle over their son, Christian, after they got divorced in 1959. The custody battle was so intense that at one point, Anna Kashfi even slapped Marlon Brando in court in front of many people, including reporters. Christian, their son, remembered this chaotic and difficult time very well, as he had been going in and out of court with his arguing parents. Marlon and Anna had only been married for a short time, and they got married because Anna was pregnant. Back then, it was considered scandalous for a woman to have a child without being married, and it would have been seen as a scandal for Marlon too if he wasn't married to the mother of his child. Marlon had told his friends that he didn't think the marriage would last, but he really wanted a child, so he gave it a try. The newspapers at that time followed their custody battle closely, which went on for many years. They were frequently seen arguing in court and being very upset with each other. Anna Kashfi even testified in court that she had broken into Marlon's house and damaged his furniture. On another occasion, Marlon had broken into a hotel room where Anna and their son were staying.